Now that you know the basics of pipeline and progress tracking, it's time to look at how to manage them. The best way to manage and organize your pipeline is with an app. Apps are also a great tool for updating lead progress on the spot. The app also allows you to enter details about a prospect before you have their contact information. You can tap on the app and update information about which step each house is at before it becomes a lead name. Overall, apps are great for tracking how the lead is progressing up the sales staircase. In general, make it a habit to stay hyper-organized and focused on tracking your progress. Update your pipeline tracker in the app each time you door knock. Do not leave it until later. Update everything when the data is fresh so that you can keep it accurate. First, I'll explain a bit more about how apps work for door knocking. A good app allows you to track your location. You can track every single home and enter details about your prospect or lead. It doesn't matter if they aren't potential leads at this point. You can enter details as you work on turning your prospect into a lead. Apps are amazing for door knocking. No matter how many homes are on a street, you can have notes next to each house. Within the app, you can see a map too with all the houses drawn on them. You can just click on the house and enter the details. You can record detailed notes about every conversation. This will help you remember it later. You can note any information in your app. You can type in their names, you could type in their hobbies or how long they've lived in that home. You can even write down things like their dog's name. The more detailed your information, the better. All of this information will help you later in your game. The other great thing is that apps remind you of who to follow up with. You can schedule visit reminders. You can also use the app to track each time you returned and what information you provided. It's important to track these details as your leads move towards maturity in your pipeline. Many apps allow you to export summaries so that you can review your progress. This helps you get to know what is working in your game and what isn't working. You can see in the reports how often and how many leads are moving along your pipeline. This will allow you to streamline your processes. You can focus on making more of the right moves. If you knock consistently, you should start to see consistent results over time. Another important thing to consider is the natural time it takes to move a lead into being a sold. It is normal for a lead to take at least 6 months or even a year to go from first contact to final maturity in your pipeline. For an app, I recommend starting with SalesRabbit or Spodio. SalesRabbit is a free app and Spodio is the app you want to work your way into. Spodio has great maps and allows you to collect data as you knock. Each new lead is automatically timestamped as you enter it and includes your live location. The data is also synced and shared in real time with its back-end database. There are settings for updating the pipeline stages in each contact. This app is ideal for providing you with real-time analytics whenever you want it. Here are my favorite tips for using an app like Spodio. Keep your phone in your tray or somewhere easy. Always enter information immediately after leaving a home so that you don't forget it. You deal with so many names and get so much personal information when you're door knocking, you need to enter it while it's still fresh in your mind. Also remember to do this after you're back and standing on the street. Do not enter details while you're walking away from somebody's home. It doesn't look good to have your head down on your phone suddenly. During a follow-up visit, look at your app before you get to the door. Click on the house in the app before you go back up the next staircase to the next door. You want to remind yourself of the important details you collected last time. Look up things like the homeowner's name, if they've already given it to you. When you get to the door, greet the person by name. Eventually, you will become more engaged. You'll remember their names naturally. Until then, all of these details are ready in your app for you. Okay, so let's take another action step. After this video, download your first app. You can download Spodio if you're ready now, or SalesRabbit, the free version. Use the downloadable resource as a guide to get started with your first progress app. A quick note about progress tracking short versus long-term leads. You don't track long-term leads in your pipeline. A true long-term lead is one that you plan on nurturing for over a year or more. These leads are not ready to move along your pipeline. They're not what your pipeline is for. Long-term leads sit in the first stage and don't need to take up space in your pipeline yet. They don't need to be checked on as frequently. Just remember to keep them warm and follow up with them occasionally through your digital CRM. but you don't need to focus as much energy on them right now as they're not as strong as your short-term leads. They don't need to be front and center yet, being recorded on your progress pipeline or on your map. When you get someone's contact information that is a long-term lead, record this information and put it aside. Enter these leads into your digital CRM. These leads are easier to close later if you don't forget about them. The next module is all about CRM lead tracking over the short and the long term. The bottom line is that you want to have a pipeline tracking system and your digital CRM in place.